Good evening. Chris here again from Prusen Studios. We're going to work on edge dressing this evening. The sequence that we did just before this was actually leather dyeing, so we dyed the pieces of leather that we had until they got a nice coating to them. When coating these things, you want to be sure and get the dye down inside any initials or any type of engraving or any type of stamping that you have in there, and you want to make sure that you get it as close as you can inside the edges and the thread pattern, around the buttons, little places like that that people notice. Once you're sure that you have that coating done in that particular method, the next step is the edge coat, and for that I use Phoebing's edge coat. Works really well. Ironically enough, smells like pine. Smells like pine. So I'm going to point the camera down. We're going to take a look at the work. All right. What I'm talking about, the edges, are the edges that are visible along here. And what this is actually going to do, it's going to seal those two edges together and make them into one. You want a nice, even coating, but just make sure that it doesn't drip down onto your work. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to get like this, because everywhere that you push this little thing, it basically leaves a brown line along the edge. But you want to make sure that you get a nice even coat all the way around, because this coating will actually be here for the life of the leather. It soaks in and it stays there. Doesn't really ever go away. I've seen some of them wear out. And when they do, you just apply more. And make sure you get a nice even coating. But you're not leaving any holidays anywhere. Which, like I said earlier, holidays are the missed places where it looks like you've missed anywhere. And just give it a good coating. Yeah, it's just going to travel right along the edge. It's going to soak right into the leather. When it does, it creates a bond. So as you can see, that part's done. Now this part you're going to have to handle kind of with kid gloves, because anytime that this thing moves, it has a potential of touching your hand anywhere. If it touches your hand, that's fine, just don't move. You're only going to let this thing go one time. You're going to set it down so that it can dry. Bring your lines on up. Nice long strokes, even coats. Just like house painting. Attach them together. And voila. Make sure that your edges are covered. This is the trim that your customers are going to see. So you want it to be really, really good. And that's how you work trim coating. Now it needs to be set somewhere. As you can hear, I have a fan on in the background, and that's so that it can dry. What I'm going to do is put it on a drying rack. I've got several of those back here in the back that I keep. These drying racks, it's basically where you can set something down and it'll have a chance to dry on its own. All right. When you have multiple edges like this, and you've got 3 or 4 pieces of leather that you're trying to seal together, this stuff actually works the best, hands down. It will do the job. It'll seal all 4 pieces together. You get some of that edge dressing on there, you bring it up, and you coat it, just like so. Make sure to get a nice long stroke, nice easy coating on all of it. And what this is going to do is it's going to protect it in the future. This way the moisture stays out of the leather. It doesn't assist in separating it anywhere. It helps to hold it together. It actually forms almost like a rubber-like coating. So it's really, really amazing stuff, but they call it a edge coating. And it's different than leather dye. It has some dye qualities to it, but it's better at sealing than anything else. On this one, you want to be sure and avoid the stitches if you can. Just a little bead running along the edge like that is fine, because that's what your customers are going to see. That's what other people will see. You definitely want them to compliment them when they're wearing it, because that's complimenting your work. All right. So I'm going to finish this up this evening. Y'all go out, get some, and enjoy it. Have fun working on these projects, and hopefully it'll make a lifetime's worth of fun for you too. Y'all have a great evening.